I want to tell you a little story about me.
Buckle up, pal.
Welcome to MsMojo. When it comes to putting ballet on screen, most creators can't get the steps quite right. But the Amazon Prime series Étoile doesn't just put classical dance and the people who make it center stage. It puts them in the wings, in the studio, and in the writer's room too. Is it a showing that would make Pavlova proud? Or more of a rite of spring situation? Let's all belly up to the bar and take a look.
It's over. We're not together anymore. We will dance together and it will be very professional, but other than that, we're done.
Allow us to set the stage. Étoile takes us behind the curtain of not one but two elite fictional ballet companies, Metropolitan Ballet Theatre in New York and Le Ballet National in Paris. Unfortunately, both institutions find themselves struggling in an ever rockier arts landscape.
The audience is dead and dying, so's the funding. I've got union issues.
You're French.
Then there was the mighty reign of King COVID.
In an effort to shake up their respective companies and patrons alike, the two directors, Jack and Geneviève, agree to swap a number of their top artists. Paris gets the up-and-coming French-born ballerina Michi Duplessis back among their ranks 2 years after she was expelled from their school. They also acquire vaunted choreographer Tobias Bell, noted for a talent as singular as his personality.
Hi, everybody. I went online and Googled small talk because I know I'm lacking in that skill. And one of the things they recommended was saying hi, everybody, in a pleasant tone when you enter a room with multiple people. And then I Googled pleasant tone, and they said it's basically just higher.
Meanwhile, New York scores with Le National's première étoile, Cheyenne Toussaint. Though, like the art form of ballet itself, the mercurial dancer promises to be a challenge.
You think I don't know what I need? You think I'm a baby ballerina, new to the world, stumbling around, stuffing lumps full in my shoes to stop the pain? There is no stopping the pain, Jack.
Étoile is far from the first backstage exploration of the ballet world to show up on screen. In fact, the show pays its révérence to numerous forerunners.
What can I say? Some kids grow up idolizing the Rolling Stones. You were my Mick Jagger.
The concept alone is reminiscent of both Robert Altman's wildly underrated The Company and the 1977 Best Picture nominee The Turning Point. The latter movie is visually referenced throughout Étoile's first season, most notably in the on-screen crediting of its stage performances. But the tributes don't stop coming. From quoting Fame to shouting out the Frederick Wiseman documentaries Ballet and La Danse, to a quick peek of Mikhail Baryshnikov in White Nights, great dance movies are all over Étoile.
I love this film.
Me too. I can watch it 100 times.
Unfortunately, many of these are not the ballet media that wider audiences would be familiar with. Though the art form has appeared on screen since the silent era, it's rare that it gains any lasting cultural capital unless it's a very specific kind of story.
My little princess, I always knew you had it in you.
Black Swan was the last ballet movie to capture mainstream attention and prestige accolades. Reasonable people can debate how good or bad of a movie it is, but when it comes to ballet, it unfortunately exemplifies the worst of the clichés that seem to plague dance stories on screen.
Yes, you're beautiful, fearful, fragile. Ideal casting.
Black Swan centers a mentally precarious woman who pushes into psychosis in pursuit of the perfection ballet demands. And the artistic world around her is a harsh and unfeeling one, populated exclusively with backstabbing competitors and predatory authority figures.
Ah! You bit me? I can't believe you bit me.
Most often, this is the ballet world we see in film and TV. It's painted as a place where the beauty of the art form contrasts the ugliness beneath the surface, like a ballerina's battered foot beneath her satin toe shoes.
C'est de me faire peur.
Non, je voulais te faire peur, je te montrerai mes pieds.
Abuse is often the center point of these stories. One especially tired trope is the manipulative and megalomaniac Svengali figure.
And don't forget, the great impression of simplicity can only be achieved by a great agony of body and spirit.
Firmly established in 1948's The Red Shoes, this character type has lurked to torture decades of fictional ballerinas, finally reaching an almost comical extreme in the overwrought 2015 melodrama Flesh and Bone.
I'd like you to have a good long think about that, Claire. Can you do that for me? And while you do that, I'd like you to get out of my sight!
Among the ranks of the dancers, the hits just keep coming. Self-harm seems to be a given, as we are asked to believe that it's the only logical outcome when someone devotes themselves to something as demanding as ballet. Never mind that the same storylines are far less frequent in narratives about sports athletes, but those usually follow male characters who are given the benefit of the doubt and assumed to be capable of physical and mental toughness in a way dancers rarely are.
Oh yeah, I know. Everyone thinks ballerinas so sweet, so fragile. Trust me, they're dancing on stress fractures and ingrown toenails.
This sexist slant continues in the way dancer relationships are depicted. In these overwhelmingly female environments where everyone has their eyes on the same prize, there are few true friendships and little camaraderie. Ballerinas, we are shown, are petty, jealous, and capable of a level of cruelty that would make Regina George take a step back. In Netflix's dark and soapy Tiny Pretty Things, the last major streaming attempt at a ballet series, the characters spend so much time on blackmail, betrayal, and attempted murder, it's a wonder they have any time for rehearsal.
It drives you to take crazy risks, to do what it takes to stand out from the crowd. You risk too much, fly too high, and you can end up like me, in this bed, clinging to life.
That's not to say that ballet is an artistic utopia where everything is as lovely as it looks on stage. There are plenty of real-world cases of predatory behavior, unhealthy expectations, and systemic discrimination to illustrate that the world behind the scenes is a complicated, imperfect one. However, rather than dig into the subtleties of that, directors and writers prefer to elevate the seediest corners of it with a kind of leering fascination, and they usually get rewarded for it.
What?
Black Swan stacked up awards and penetrated the pop culture zeitgeist. 10 years earlier, Center Stage, a more honest and nuanced portrayal of life inside elite dance institutions, was almost entirely written off.
So what, are you kicking me out?
No. I just want you to really think if this is the right place for you.
It's frustrating that very little media about dance seems intended for people who actually like dance. Thankfully, it's Amy Sherman-Palladino to the rescue.
And I'm sure there's ballerinas pushing other ballerinas off of buildings all over the world. But in my experience, I never saw or met a homicidal ballerinas.
The creator of Gilmore Girls and The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is not new to the dance world. Having almost become a professional dancer herself, it's a place she understands inside out. She previously brought ballet to the screen with enormous affection in the tragically short-lived series Bunheads.
Hold on to your socks, kid. You're gonna see some moves.
First position, port de bras. And down. Demi-plie.
Intimidated yet?
The show chronicled the lives of the teachers and students at a small-town dance studio. Though not without its first season growing pains, it shined in spotlighting dance as a means of refuge, expression, and connection for its characters.
Boo, she's not going to teach today, okay? If you keep us here any longer, at least demand a ransom.
If Madam Fanny suddenly decides that she wants to teach today, we are going to be here for her to teach.
Rivalry existed. So did concerns like favoritism and body image issues. Through it all, Bunheads still allowed dance to be something that gave more than it took, and as a bonus, featured some first-rate dancing from its cast.
So are you leaving now?
Not as long as the ham holds out.
No, I mean, are you leaving?
Oh.
The premature cancellation of Bunheads was a huge disappointment for Amy Sherman-Palladino and her fans alike. But given a second chance, she was determined to revive its best elements and expand on them as she looked to the larger stage offered by a professional ballet setting.
Let's do the show about the work and the weirdness and the goofiness and the camaraderie and the competitiveness and the love of the art form that's going to pay them absolutely no money and could be over in a second if they twist their knee the wrong way. Let's do that side.
Everything Sherman-Palladino hoped to portray radiates off the screen in Étoile. Her trademark whimsy lends a heightened quirkiness to the tone that fits perfectly in a show about people in the arts, and sometimes even allows it to feel more authentic.
I did the shoo-shoo whoosh.
You didn't.
I did it. I did it exactly like you said. I did whoosh whoosh, shoo-shoo whoosh.
You skipped the whoosh.
I did not skip the whoosh.
You did.
This is the whoosh.
Conflicts always feel reasonably sized for the narrative and come from clashing personalities and organic story progression. And when the dancers of Étoile do turn on each other, it has the ring of reasonable, character-based logic rather than soap opera constructs.
There are rules. There are traditions. We've all been working here for years, and And then Michi buries in and takes everything. Pierre Tati, a new piece with Alain, the good makeup mirror.
Competitive energy is a key piece of most ballet stories, but Étoile makes a refreshing change of pace here as well. Competition is refocused into something personal for several of the show's characters, layering in the realistic truth that at any given time, an artist is harder on themselves than anyone else could be.
What you do does not matter. What I do does. I did not dance up to my standards. I insist that you let me dance this again.
Above all, love of the art form is the beating heart of Étoile. Every character truly and deeply loves ballet, from the patrons to the administrators to the performers. It's not a perfect relationship. Michi's one of several characters that show us that there is a personal cost to the dedication ballet demands.
J'ai rencontré ce gars hyper mignon, Timéo, il est grand et beau et intelligent et fallait que je cherche sur Wikipédia pour trouver un truc à dire sur une ville où j'ai quand même vécu pendant 2 ans.
We hope to see Étoile dig into this thematic thread further as the show continues. However, the zeal that motivates most of the characters is not shown to be inherently unhealthy either, but rather the passion that gives them their sense of purpose. By allowing the entire ensemble to feel so equally yoked in their level of commitment, we also get to see that creative devotion that can take many different, equally valid forms.
This deal must happen. For ballet's sake.
Given the makeup of the Étoile team, it's no wonder that this fond view comes through so strongly. Aside from Amy Sherman-Palladino at the helm with her husband and creative partner Daniel Palladino, the creative side also boasts celebrated choreographer Marguerite Derricks as one of its producers.
I've spent my whole career fighting for rights for dancers and choreographers, and I will always be very vocal about that because it is important. And it feels good to get the recognition for what we do.
Derricks, who also handled Étoile's original choreography, made it her mission to fill out the on-screen companies with true blue ballet dancers. This includes familiar faces to dance aficionados like Alex Wong, Brooklyn Mack, John Lamb, Joy Womack, Robbie Fairchild, and current New York City ballet principals Unity Phelan and Tyler Peck.
Oh, sorry, this is Dr. Spear.
Hello.
He's in charge of getting me back on stage.
Back on stage?
Yes, I'm just fine in rehearsal, no problem.
The main cast are no slouches either, though Lou Delage as Cheyenne is doubled by former Scottish ballet star Constance Devernay. Thais Vinalo has danced with the National Ballet of Canada, and even non-dance fans might recognize West Side Story's David Alvarez as Cheyenne's rootless partner Gael.
You eat breakfast? You ate breakfast.
Good breakfast.
The dancers aren't just set dressing in Étoile. The details of their lives as performers and people served as a wealth of inspiration for the writers. Tyler Peck's own ballet role model was even incorporated into the show after a conversation with Daniel Palladino.
Repeat after me. Dearest Madame Plisetskaya,
Dearest Madame Plisetskaya,
watch over me tonight and guide my dancing spirit.
watch over me tonight and guide my dancing spirit.
Étoile's attention to detail is obvious everywhere you look. Of course, we see famous classical choreography, but they even made sure to get the floors correct.
What are you doing? I'm testing out the floor. Go back.
Floor is good.
That's not backwards French for back.
I do not smack.
I need space in unfamiliar surroundings.
What do you think of the floor?
Springy. Maybe too springy.
The script keeps pace with the aesthetics, casually dropping references and in-jokes that will stand out to dancers in the audience. And it features some fun cameos, like famous choreographer Christopher Wheeldon appearing as himself.
I really focus on just letting go of things, like the idea of you doing anything I ask. I also restarted my therapy, which has been very helpful. And now I think I'm much better equipped to answer your questions. I made notes, charts, and I'm now prepared to get past the second count of 8 in the dance.
The broadest benefit of all these dancers is the grounding they give Étoile. These are people who understand ballet as a job, with all the day-to-day grind that goes with it.
You don't have to do sugar plums.
I just got the music out of my head from last season.
That stupid variation with the little bells.
And the paw with the ponchés and the chairlifts and the wigs.
Let's all go dance around in some Louboutins.
Traitors! Ungrateful, spoiled children.
While Cheyenne might still be high-minded enough to view her work more of a calling than a career, Étoile uses its setting as the frame for a show that's as much a workplace comedy as anything else. The wheels of each episode turn on Jack and Genevieve's efforts to balance art with the business concerns of running a company.
We need another 100.
Another 100?
And they're 110 each.
110? Who's doing the etching? Degas?
Plus tax and shipping. It's the etching. The etching is costly.
Then screw it. Skip the etching.
Not only does this open up a variety of facets to explore in the story, but it adds legitimacy to the idea of ballet as a serious enterprise rather than some ephemeral concept. And for fans who remember Luke Kirby from his early career run in Slings and Arrows, a show centered on the inner workings of a classical theater company, it's a satisfying full-circle moment to see him sweating budgets and wrangling artists.
That happens to be the deputy commissioner of the New York Police Department and the city comptroller. It's impossible to get a sit down with either of them, and I've got both of them at the... But you were one of my most important dancers, so I will let them sit there and wait. All of my focus is on you.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
The allure of ballet has never been in doubt, but for too long, film and TV have been overly eager to fall back on it as a conduit for lurid spectacle. However, with a team that actually understands the world they're putting on screen, we are able to appreciate it as a three-dimensional space full of light and dark, humor and heaviness. More importantly, we're able to see why it has such a hold on the people who care about it.
Maybe they watch. Maybe you dance, you feel, you change the story. Dance can do that. Dance lets you float above it all. It lets you play in the clouds. And when I dance, I want the audience to play with me.
Ballet can be punishing, and the people who make their lives around it can be difficult. But at the end of the day, there is nothing like being a part of the act of creation, whether a spectator, a facilitator, or an artist. It's the joy that keeps the flame alive, even with all the drudgery and stress that exists beyond the stage lights.
The French love a revolution. Well, let's give them one. Let's let everyone see the energy, the magic, the power, the sheer athleticism that goes into the making of a masterpiece.
If the cast and crew of Étoile has done anything right, it's infusing the show with all of their own artistic joy, letting it shine over their first season like a star. We're on the edge of our seats to see what they've got waiting in the wings.
I'm ready. Cody?
Larry?
Give us the stage.
Did Étoile make you jeter with jubilation, or is there a different ballet story that earns your standing ovation? Glissa to the comments and let us know.
I was told you always bring a ballerina flowers.
Or some bacon.
Next time.